is Jessica Joy. This is my story, Solutions. Who are we? We are individuals sharing the reality of pornography's destruction. Together, we were creating a nation without exploitation. I'm a former youth pastor that once raped. I spiraled into the pornography industry, went to the nation's top faith-based sex trafficking recovery with a 95% success rate of girls never returning to a life of exploitation. Together with my Facebook family, we had legislation in 36 states taking on the tech companies. We had the Stop Social Media Censorship Act. We had the Protect Children from Pornography Act. We had the Life Appropriation Act. We had the Elevated Marriage Act. We had so many, we had the platform, which was never being filed because we were never taught how to show up for hearings and make phone calls and when that phone call needs to be made, what committee it's going to, when to show up for a hearing. So anyways, what we do have control and power over is local government. Why am I in local government? Because the communist agenda, which was read before Congress in 1963, which year? 1963, as a warning to the United States, was written and read before Congress in 1963. This was drafted, this was written by a former FBI agent in 1958 as a warning to the United States. You will find it under the Naked Communist. You will find it under the 45 planks or the 45 goals of communism. Well, we, the people, have been plowing right through this. So how do we stop this? Step one is you make a resolution. The resolution draws a line in the sand. You will hear people say, well, resolutions don't matter. They do matter. Ask why Christians are getting banned from Facebook. Well, the law of the land in California is ACR 99. ACR 99 says that one faith-based belief is forcing another faith-based belief to kill themselves, which anyone in recovery and those in therapy know that you cannot blame somebody else for your suicide. Sorry, folks. So, in the law of the land in California, Christians, Christ followers, are a hate group. Well, what is our Constitution drafted off of? The Bible. So, they have made the Bible, therefore the Constitution, a hate group and hate speech and the Pledge of Allegiance. Do away with loyalty oaths. They've made it all a hate group. So what am I doing here at the sheriff's office today? So I have been going over in my videos that we have a terrorist organization, a faith-based self-asserted ideology that has inserted itself in government and is forcing we the people, the non-conformers, to commit an act of immorality through coercion of our tax dollars. This piece of paper I'm going to give to the Sheriff's Department. Why? In studying the local culture of Grand Junction, Mesa County here in Colorado, I have studied the culture as I want to teach you how to study your culture. That there was, just a few months ago, there was hundreds of people that stormed into the city council here in Colorado. Christ followers are not in city council. We've abandoned all of our authority. Yes, even though that's our Constitution, written off of our Bible, inspired by the Word of God, that we've totally abandoned all of Christian authority. So when these city council members, they were bombarded by this group called RAW, which stands for Right and Wrong. This is a terrorist organization. If, by definition of the FBI, a group, formed or unformed, has used force and intimidation for a political or social objective, for example, burning down 2,240 locations, that is by definition a terrorist organization. So the sooner that we deem this agenda, which Black Lives Matter, their agenda, their demands matches exactly the communist agenda. This is no secret. This is out in public, and so is their communist agenda. So the sooner that we declare them a terrorist organization, by definition of the FBI, the sooner that we can ban them from our schools. Can we possibly ban them from our schools? Can we possibly ban them from our libraries? And can we possibly, if they're a terrorist organization by definition of local government, can we no longer give them permits to assemble, that they do not have rally rights? Like, for example, if Osama bin Laden, Osama bin Laden, if he, being a terrorist by definition of American standards, by definition of the FBI, if he thought that he was going to hold a rally at the local school, he would be arrested. If Osama bin Laden was going to host a rally at the local park, wouldn't he be arrested? If Osama bin Laden stepped inside of our schools, wouldn't he be arrested? If Osama bin Laden went inside of our libraries to host little organizational parties, wouldn't he be arrested? So the sooner that we can define this as a terrorist organization through local government, the sooner that we can ban them. So let me tell you a little strategy that Raw is using. I have went over with Facebook followers time and time again that you are seeing flash and awe up here on the surface. You are seeing cities burn to the ground. Well, what you are not seeing, so you assume that this terrorist organization wears black masks. Well, underneath the surface, the terrorists wear white collars, and they're recruiting on a daily basis for the communist agenda. They're your typical housewife, yes. Our current terrorists look like your normal housewife. So there's flash and awe up here, and they're burning down cities, and you're like, oh my goodness, let's tune in to see over 2,240 locations burned to the ground. And so you're seeing them as terrorists. Well, underneath here, the surface, they're passing the communist agenda through city councils. They're not asking anybody's permission. And if you notice, the planks that are flying fastest through the city councils is the banning of Christian conversion. So of all the communist platforms that are going through our city councils, why is the banning of Christian conversion going the fastest? Because them outlawing us outlaws our Constitution. Let me say it slower for the back row. Them outlawing us, making us a hate group, outlaws the Constitution. Yay! Do you hear me? The sooner they call us a hate group, which ACR 99 in California, which passed with no hindrance, people drove from all over the state to pass that resolution, ACR 99, making us a hate group. The sooner that they make Christianity a hate group, the sooner they can ban us from the Bible apps on your phone, the sooner that they can ban us from our churches, the sooner that they call us a terrorist, the sooner that they call us a hate group, the sooner they can erase us from social media, they can erase us from a Gmail. I have a Gmail account, they're going to erase us from Gmail, the sooner that they can erase us for being terrorists. So who's going to sit back and have them call us terrorists? Doing away, forfeiting our Constitution. So going over the communist planks, which I'm leaving here at the Sheriff's Department, and then I'm going to go to the Police Department. The Sheriff's Department, they have officers at the local schools. Well, I want them to be the eyes and the ears of the communist agenda coming through our schools. We are going to take over local government like our lives depend on it. We are going to fortify our cities and our towns just like they took over our cities and our towns. We will take back our cities and our towns. But Jessica, he opened a museum. Yeah, that's communist plank number 23. So let's go over some updates on the communist agenda. Develop the illusion of disarmament, okay, as moral strength. Well, let's go over moral strength and disarmament. When I would lobby at 36 state houses with zero, there's no Christians in our state house. That state house is their church. I was going into their turf. I would see these women with red shirts on, and they would wear the shirts that say "Moms Demand Action." Yeah, Moms Demand Action. If they have 200 or 300 emails a day from Moms Demand Action to disarm citizens, who are they going to listen to? The church that is simply sending thoughts and prayers and doing nothing, or are they going to listen to Moms Demand Action, which is there every single day? And if they can't go, they make sure that somebody's there. So there's communist plank number 3. Then we have do away with loyalty oaths. I looked that up online, and yes, Black Lives Matter, their agenda, which is coming into our schools, is that yes, please sit during the Pledge of Allegiance, do not participate in the Pledge of Allegiance. So yes, that affects local government. So let's go ahead and call those communists. When you're encouraging our kids to sit during the Pledge of Allegiance, that's number 13. Take over one or both parties. The Focus on the Family Policy Alliance and Concerned Women for America, who has stopped pornography legislation for the last 4 years and not educated Christ followers on how to be at a hearing, show up for a hearing, how to push a bill, 200 or 300 phone calls on Monday, then we have a hearing on Tuesday. If they have not taught us how to engage government, I think if one party is kept intentionally stupid and the other party is trained on a daily basis that there's no difference between local government, state government, and federal government, that I think both parties are in bed with each other. Yes, this is the Christian Coalition. This is the CNP, the underground of the Republican Party, that meets 3 times a year at Ritz-Carltons around the United States, and they make fun of us, we the people. They make fun of us little peons that are going down on the Titanic, and they're like, look at them. Oh. So, do away with loyalty oaths, that's number 13. take over one or both political parties. So who plays sports and never asks like why there's lots of buses showing up at state houses? Why are there lots of buses showing up at state houses and there's food donors and food vendors there? Oh yeah, why are they so organized? When I was in West Virginia's state house, the shower stall or the bathroom stalls are held together with duct tape. So how did all these beautiful nice buses come in and bus in all the teachers? It says, oh yeah, take over the teachers associations, take over the teachers unions, yes. Yes, and then have them run for local government, that's great. Okay, so so we have number 17, take control of the schools. They have. Who taught these kids how to hate us? Who taught these kids to burn down our cities? Yes. I would also say higher education. Did you know that a big portion of our tax dollars goes to commit an act of immorality and train these terrorists to burn down our cities? So we pay them a weekly unemployment to burn down our cities, and then they have audacity to ask us, we the people, to rebuild their cities. And we're the bad guy? I know, this is like a mental, this is an abusive relationship. So take over, Go faster! Obviously that's a train. Like me! Teachers associations infiltrate the press. You didn't think taking over the press was a big deal? Well, I think it was like 4 months ago I started watching films on communism, and now I've noticed that the films on YouTube of communism are kind of like gone. Yeah, I was trying to look up dictators and all the people that like just killed millions of people. Since I've been looking on YouTube lately, I'm like, oh, all that history is gone. Well, that's part of the agenda, is that you never talk down about socialism and communism. You have that replace American history. Do away with loyalty oaths. Use technical decisions of the courts to weaken American institutes by claiming their activities violate civil rights. Yes. Yes, civil rights. Would that be Roe v. Wade? Roe v. Wade? That violated somebody's, no, let's go ahead and is abortion neutral? No, therefore it's unconstitutional to make us, the nonconformers, fund it through coercion of our tax dollars. So abortion's not, this is neutral. Abortion's not neutral. This is neutral. Abortion's not neutral. Car keys are neutral. A car is neutral. Nobody's complaining. Nobody's fighting over car. Nobody's fighting over traffic lights and the stop sign. Those are neutral topics. This piece of paper, neutral topic. Keys, neutral topic. Abortion, not neutral. So therefore, it's unconstitutional for one faith-based belief that life begins that life is a clump of cells to force another faith-based belief that life begins at conception to commit an act of immorality through coercion of our tax dollars. Sex education. They have been funding, we, the nonconformers, have been funding sex ed in this state since 2011. They came in through the Safe Schools. The trans ideology came through the Safe Schools, which is funded by the marijuana money here. Yeah, it's called Colorado Now or One Colorado. The money that these people pay has created grant pool, which the Gay Straight Alliance, One Colorado, like the parents of this community are funding the Gay Straight Alliance, which is in 220 schools here in Colorado. The one faith-based belief is forcing the other faith-based belief to commit an act of immorality through coercion of their tax dollars. So it's sex education, it's trans ideology. Trans ideology, you're thinking it's going to be looking like a sex education bill? No, it's coming under the guise of bullying. Bullying and inclusivity. And the PTA, look up Colorado PTA, the Parent Teacher Association. The PTA has inclusivity boards, and they are so proud of their Gay Straight Alliance. So if you don't allow a BDSM club at your school, let me say it slower, if you don't allow master slave BDSM, like today you can be a master, today you can be a slave. If we don't allow sexual fetishes into our school, which is a violation of our obscenity laws, then why would we be funding the Gay Straight Alliance? Yeah, same thing, it's a sexual preference. We don't need to have that indoctrination in our schools. And funded by us. So infiltrate the press, we've seen that because we've been like knocked off our platforms. Then we have discrediting American culture, do away with American history. Then here's by studying the local culture of here, Mesa County. So Here's the strategy that they used. Good cop, bad cop. So hundreds of these people came in to the city council like a couple of months ago, like, oh, we have our demands, defund the police, social justice, blah, and like, oh yes, we're gonna do away with the nuclear family, and it takes a village to raise a child. Like, they come in with their communist planks. The city council here was like, oh my goodness, I'm so scared, whatever you say, mayday, So I'm like, no. And then the leader walks it back. Oh, I'm so sorry that I cussed my way through your entire city council. I'm so sorry. I'm actually quite peaceful. We are opening a museum for the minorities. What? And then you're going to run for city council? Over my dead body. I'm going to make sure it's very clear to the sheriff's department, the police department, that you are a terrorist organization. Yeah! Can't really run for city council whenever you're deemed a terrorist. That's so crazy. Well, do you know what's really crazy? The Christians down in Cedar Park, go ahead and interview the 2 Christians that were left on that city council. They're like, Jessica, please speak on our behalf. They called in November, before all this corona malarkey, they called the Christians, the 2 Christians on the city council, level 1 terrorists during a city council meeting. They had a video associating them with info and called them level 1 terrorists, tried to have their kids taken away. They called, I'm like, let me get this straight. They called the 2 Christians left on Cedar Park City Council, which is north of Austin. Yes, they took over all of our red state cities. They called them terrorists. Okay, 2 can play this game. If you have burned down 2,240 locations, who's the terrorist? So we see your agenda above ground, and we're calling out your agenda below ground. No, we will not be seeing you run for city council. I just spent morning coffee making sure that all we do is groom people for office, train them for office, and send them in with full hands of not communism. So, oh, Jessica, when you say full hands of policy, what do you mean? I mean the exact opposite of this. So if here's 45 planks of communism, we write the antithesis to this. Will that take us 1 or 2 city council meetings to pass? 1 piece of paper. Can we get it down to the antithesis to 1 piece of paper? Discredit the Constitution as a hindrance to world peace and to global citizens. Discredit the Founding Fathers. Yeah, they're taking down 84 statues. That's local government. Belittling all forms of American culture and discourage the teaching of American history. Number 32, I want you to pay attention to that today, because I have my Google alerts set that anytime that Black Lives Matter does anything with schools, I know about it. So today my Google alert was how Black Lives Matter signed on to a huge deal with Warner Brothers to Black Lives Matter, let me say it slower, signed on to a huge deal with Warner Brothers, and this includes cartoons. Yeah. They want to make it so normal that your kids are watching it, and your kids are like, what? Why are you speaking against Black Lives Matter? I just watched a great cartoon about social justice. Anywho, so number 23 is, 32. You can see how my brain works backwards. 32. Support any socialist movement to give centralized control over any part of the culture, education, social agencies, welfare reform programs, mental health clinics. Yeah. 33. Eliminate all laws and procedures that interfere with the communist agenda. Yeah, that'd be us. They're going to eliminate us. Oh my gosh. Guys, a couple nights ago, I think it's 2 nights ago, watch the Tucker Carlson video on YouTube where he's talking about that a committee has been formed called the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. Number 45 has to do with the World Court. What was just formed, and you'll hear it on Tucker Carlson, was a Truth and Reconciliation Committee. Anyone who knows anything about South Africa? When they had civil war, they had a Truth and Reconciliation Committee. And that is where they shame us, and they persecute us for treason. Surprise! Create an impression. Okay, so emphasize the need to raise children away from negative influences. Yeah, that started with like, it takes a village to raise a child. Notice all their buzzwords. I want this so blatant that people are like, that's communism, that's communism, that's communism, that's communism. Yeah, destroy the nuclear family, that's communism. Discredit the family institution, take over the psychiatric profession. Defund the police, that's number 38. Collapse small business and take over big business. Collapse small business and take over big business. Hey, what do you think this pandemic is about? Collapse small business. What? Here's your city council slashing your own throat, doing away with your inheritance, which I heard about in Proverbs today. Like, why would you destroy your children's inheritance and you held the knife? What? Your local government has all power to say, no, we are now a safe space for the Constitution. Discredit the founding fathers. Okay, eliminate prayer, infiltrate the churches, and then, eliminate obscenity laws and call them censorship, break down the standards of morality, homosexuality, call it normal and natural. Yeah, this was written like way before you guys. Like way back in the day this was written. And so Ra has been like, okay, we're using intimidation, and I'm so sorry that I just cussed my entire way through your city council. But now I'm going to run for city council and I'm going to open a museum. Oh, a museum? Museum? That's number 23. Good job, Ra. So I always want you guys to see, as I come to conclusion here, there's a bunch of terrorism going up here, and then there's white-collar terrorism going through your city councils. So either we talk about it or we be about it. So thank you, God, that I met with some awesome constitutional people earlier today, and we are going to start on the recruiting, the training, the grooming, and taking over every single seat of local government. I heard in Proverbs today also that a city's richness is in its walls. It's time to build a wall. Make good choices.